Welcome to the High Value Sales Show of Eversprint.com. I'm Malcolm Louie, the managing member of Eversprint, and today we're speaking with Tyler Robertson, the CEO of Diesel Laptops, a provider of commercial truck diagnostic software, hardware, and laptop kits. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Hey, thank you very much. I am excited to be here.
Tyler, you grew your company's revenue from $1.3 million in 2014 to $16.4 million in 2017, a 1,188% increase. And in 2018, you hit around 30 million. Before we talk about how you grew your company so fast, can you briefly share what your company does beyond my quick intro and how your company differs from the competition?
Absolutely. So what we really do, the core of our business, what got us here, is selling diagnostic kits to the commercial truck space. So you got to imagine every single commercial truck that's driving up and down the road today has some really advanced electronics on it, and the federal government's put a lot of emission requirements on these trucks. And what happened is things got really complicated to fix really, really quick. So even dealers today struggle to properly diagnose today's modern trucks. And then you got to think of all these trucks that once they leave the dealership and they get into the hands of fleets and repair shops throughout the country, they're just struggling. They don't have access to the right tools. They don't have access to the right support. They don't have access to the right repair information. And they don't have anyone they can call when they need help. So that's really where Diesel Laptops steps in and provides a diagnostic tool. And we put all those support and training and information around it to make it a great tool for the end user.
Yeah, and it looks like you really nailed it too, given how your sales grew so rapidly from 1.3 million in 2014, and then 4 years later, you're at 30 million. What would you say were the three biggest drivers of your growth during that time period?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things we did, it was listen to our customers. And when I started this, it was really easy because it was just me. So it was me sitting in my garage and my dining room table doing this thing. So I had the privilege of doing the sales call, putting the laptops together, shipping them out, doing customer support. And when you're doing all those things, you get to talk directly to your customers through a lot of different eye lenses, and you start to hear what they didn't like. So as I started hearing what people didn't like, it got really easy for me to say, well, heck, I can build that. Let's do that. So, it started with just making some really simple software and then kind of expanding out from there. But that's one of the really things that we did was, hey, let's just listen to what the problems are and let's make a solution and make this product even better. Because if we do that, I'll have a customer for life and also have a product that nobody else can really compete with since we're the only ones doing it. So listening to our customers is number one. Number two was we just really had to hire great people. So my longest tenured employee in my company, he's at the ripe old age of 23. He just turned 23 a couple months ago. But super smart kid, knows what he's doing, learns just unbelievably quick. And it's been like that throughout our company. I've hired a lot of people that I've worked with in the past, and we've brought in some great outside talent as well to really scale this up and go as fast as we can. And the thing that we've really learned to do as well is just learn quick and not be afraid to put products out there. Although they're not 100%, although they're not perfect, let's put them out there, get the feedback from the end users, and then let's reiterate and make it even better and just do it at a constant basis. So we're trying to be a fast-moving company with a lot of great people that listens to our customers. And I think those are really the key fundamental things that we've done as a company.
All right. So the first one is listening to your customers, giving solutions to solve their problems. The second one was hiring good people. You gave an example of the 23-year-old who's super bright and just sucks it all in and is able to take action on what he learns. And what was the third one? Because the third one sounded a bit like the first one.
Yeah, it's really just learning quickly. It really is. It is listening to our customers, but it's learning quickly what works and what doesn't in the marketplace. So we've had a ton of products we've released that were just absolute flops. We thought customers wanted it. We handed it to them and they said, no, we don't need this. Why did you bother wasting all your time doing this? And in hindsight, I'm glad we didn't go spend a ton of engineering hours making all these features that we wanted to do. And we got that instant feedback and we were able to pivot. So just being able to make a quick decision and not being afraid to make a mistake, I guess, is how you could lump all that together.
Right. Now, can you talk a little bit about these changes that you make, that you release quickly? Like, are they pretty, you just have a fantastic team that's working 24 hours a day without sleep and putting in these new features, or, are these small little things that you're rolling out or big stuff that you're rolling out?
Yeah, so we're more about, hey, here's a product. Let's make it a, a minimal viable product, right? Common term you use in the industry a lot. Let's make that. And then let's just put it out there, get that initial reaction. Let's make sure we talk to a lot of customers and get feedback on all those things. And then let's just kind of make changes as we go. So, we have this one program called DTC Solutions. And this is a great program. And the backstory in this program is I'm doing this whole thing as a side hustle, right? Making these kits and selling them to customers. And the problem is I have my regular, 8 to 5 job. So I'm having clients call me at work saying, hey, I got this thing working, but I got a code. I don't know what to do. And you can't really do that while you're working your regular job. That's not fair to my current employer. So I was like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make one program here that just has every possible fault code for commercial trucks, and it's going to tell people exactly how to fix it so they can stop calling me. And I hopefully that'll be a better solution. So we did that whole thing, and then we get it to customers, and they're like, oh, well, we're having a hard time finding things, so we needed to reorganize and restructure the database properly. Then we only had 3 buttons in the program. We thought it was super easy to use, and we come to find out it wasn't. They were in the wrong order, so customers were really confused and they thought it was a horrible program. So we're able to really do it very, very quick, and we're not afraid to put updates out very, very frequently. I think today, in today's world, especially with like mobile apps where you see updates coming out every couple of days for a lot of these things, people aren't afraid of updates for programs. And as long as they know that there's changes that are coming, and they know we're working on it, and they know their feedback's valued, they stick with it, and they understand, and they see it, and then you have a customer for quite a while.
Right. Now, just so that I better understand what your product is. I know that for my car, for example, I know mechanics have this little red box, not even a red box, a little red handheld thing that they just plug in somewhere in my computer, into my car's computer, and it gives them a code to tell them what's wrong with the car.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that your product for the most part, or yours is a step?
Yeah. So automotive's always been 10 years, maybe even more ahead of the commercial truck industry, which the commercial truck industry is also 5 to 10 years ahead of the off-highway industry, which we also play in. So in the automotive industry, you can go buy a device even for your phone, right, that you can plug in and pair with your phone, and it'll tell you some codes. Commercial trucks gets a little more complicated. In the automotive world, there's some really great standards out there for fault codes and access to information. There's a lot of people that play in that world. Commercial truck, it's a small percentage of the same market size. So there's not as many players, and it's way more complicated. It's not as easy. Automotive world, you have standardized codes. Truck world, not so much. People can use whatever fault codes, and they look different on every truck and make and model. And there's procedural things where when customers have a problem with a truck, they can't just run the test. They have to do 2 other tests first. So they need to know which path to go to do those things. And it's just a lot more complicated because of that standardization. Automotives, like if you say you have a Ford makes everything on that vehicle. It makes, from the wheel ends to the drivetrain to the chassis to everything. In the truck world, it's not that way. You have multiple companies. You have a Peterbilt truck. It's typically not a Peterbilt engine or a Peterbilt transmission or a Peterbilt axle or even a Peterbilt ABS system. It's somebody else, some other manufacturers that they integrate into their truck. So now you have, a dozen different manufacturers on the same vehicle that are all trying to communicate and work properly. And it gets really complex when you start integrating in a different way compared to automotive.
Right. Got it. And your kit's not a handheld sort of thing, right? You're talking about a true laptop that they're plugging in.
Yeah, so one of the unique things about us, so there's a couple of unique things I guess I should explain. Number one, most people, when they go buy a diagnostic tool before us, they would have to go buy the pieces. And you need software, you need a computer, and you need a data link to go between your computer and the truck. Well, most of these guys run in shops. They're not computer experts. They're great at running their shop. They're great at fixing trucks, but they don't understand the pieces of software to do that. They just know what they need to do. So we were really the first company that gave a customer an out-of-the-box solution that could do all those things where they didn't have to monkey around with installing and doing all that stuff. So that was kind of number one. And number two is we really are the only company that surrounds that tool with all the support and repair and all those other things that people need to do those things. So we're unique in that way. And we also sell our own products that we make, but we sell everybody else's as well. So we're not here just to go push one product line on customers like everybody else does. we're more consultative. So customers will come to us and they'll say, I want to buy XYZ. And we'll say, well, back up a second. Tell me about your business. What do you do? What do you want to do? What's your budget? All these questions that we ask them. And then we go back to them and say, okay, based on what you told us, here's what we would recommend. And here's the pros and cons on each. So we're in that unique position where we really don't lose sales to other people. We really just are able to take care of our customers and take care of their needs based on what they want. So whether it's a cheap $50 handheld scanner or a $10,000 professional level tool, we're able to have that conversation with the customer.
All right. Very cool. And your ideal customers, you talk about shops and garages. Are these small operations and they just have, working at one truck at a time, one day at a time, or are these like these enormous commercial truck maintenance?
Yeah. Hey, yep. Great question. So the ones we sell to every single day are those independent shop owners that have a repair facility somewhere and they need help, right? They need help diagnosing, they need help with the tool, they need training, they need repair info. Those are the guys we sell a lot of units to every single day. They're really the foundation of our company. And that's really who we target and we market. But it was really weird. About 2 years ago, we started getting phone calls from big companies. And these are publicly traded companies that have, multiple locations, hundreds or I shouldn't even say thousands or tens of thousands of vehicles that they're maintaining. And we come to find out they got the same problem as the little guy. So we were like, all right, our solutions would obviously help you guys. So now we have a lot of very, very big companies that buy products from us. So it's really anyone that's working on commercial trucks, and that's really the core of our business. But about 1.5 years, 2 years ago is when we expanded out to the off-highway market. And last year, we also got into the marine engine diagnostic market as well.
All right. Fantastic. Now, does a shop only need one of your products, or do they need multiple sets of them?
Yeah. So a small shop, typically, when I say a small shop, you got to think an independent truck repair shop. The guy's got 3 or 4 techs. He's probably getting by with one tool. But because of how complex things got and how many check engine lights come on and warning lights come on during the average day now, you really quickly find out you need more than one tool. So a lot of our customers, they start with that one. It's kind of a test before you buy type thing, right? They get it and they love it, and then they expand out. So a very, very good chunk of our business now is from repeat customers that are buying more tools or customer referrals. So it's almost like our push marketing that we've had to do all these years has really kind of started taking a back seat to all the good stuff that we're getting on the back end from taking care of our clients.
Right. And is there, the way you sell your products, is it they pay once and they use it forever, or is it more of a subscription model?
Yeah, so it really depends. For the most part, our most popular selling tool, it's not a subscription model. It's a buy it one time. Here's the fee. It'll work forever, but you only get updates, support, and warranty for the first year. And after that first year, you have to purchase a renewal package if you want to continue to get those things. So we have been experimenting lately, and it's a big cost, right? These guys are buying a tool that's $8,000 to $10,000, and they're having to come up with that money or do a leasing program or a payment plan with us. So we're now experimenting. We just started this a couple months ago, saying, look, don't put up all the money up front. Just pay us a flat monthly fee, and we'll give you a great tool. We'll give you great support, great warranty, great updates. And here's your 3-year contract. And we're starting to see customers that go that way, just because now they realize they don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And we're here to take care of them. And it'll be interesting to see. It's a new thing in this industry. I know it's not a new thing out in the world of tech and everything else going on, but it's definitely new in this industry. So we're figuring out the roadmap and figuring out what customers don't like about it and what they do and go in that direction. But we would love to keep migrating that way. Yeah,
the subscription economy seems to be the direction, and I've seen it applied in real world businesses that you would never have thought would have a subscription model, like a car wash, for example.
Oh, it's crazy how that subscription model's taken over everything. I remember back in the day when I first heard Microsoft was going through that for Office, I was up in arms. But now I'm kind of like, yeah, I kind of like this. I got it on multiple machines. I don't have to worry about it. We're good to go. So I think it's a good thing for the industry. At the end of the day, we know these guys that run these shops. They don't have time to update their computer. They don't have time to do all these things that we can do for them. We have diesel techs in our call center now. We can actually do remote diagnostics for them through the laptops and through their phone and all that stuff. So I really see this industry shifting towards that subscription model as time moves forward.
Yeah, it's really the time savings more than anything else. I think that's the big plus of subscription models.
Yep, 100% agree with you there.
So you talked a little bit about your marketing that grew your business. You're getting a lot of repeat business now, a lot of referrals. Do you have a rough percentage of how much of your revenue is coming from those two areas, repeat sales and referrals?
No, I don't look at it, but I can talk to you about some of our ad spending, which, there's some insanity here, but some sanity behind it. So I don't look at those percentages, but what we do look at is getting our name on the marketplace and how many leads our marketing team generates.
Okay.
So because we have a higher ticket item, our premier tool we sell is, $8,000 to $10,000, depending on what options those guys want. So for us, our cost per lead is around $70 for online marketing. So,
Okay.
we do that through, Facebook and, Google landing pages and LinkedIn and all YouTube and all those things, to try to drive that traffic. But we've come to a couple of realizations lately. One, that we have our own network of mobile apps and websites and desktop apps. And back in January, we said, man, what if we put up our own ad network on our own platforms that we have out there? How many ad views could we get off our own network? And can we get away from that, that Google's kind of like a drug, right? You're paying all this money, you're getting all these results. And at the end of the day, you start really questioning, man, am I wise to be spending 7 figures a year in this with Google to generate all these leads? So we spun up our own ad network, and now we have our own ad network on apps that are actually used by diesel technicians and shop managers and foremen and parts professionals, all these people that we're trying to target. So, back when we launched this thing in, I think it was like April-ish, we had 0 ad views when we launched. Today, our network generates around 63 million ad views a year, and we're growing by double-digit percentages every month. So now all of a sudden, my cost for leads off that platform went to virtually nil. And I end up with so much ad space that I can actually go sell ad space to other people that we can kind of partner up with and do things with. So we're aggressively looking for ways to keep chopping that down. $70 per lead, it's a lot of money, but when you're selling an $8,000 tool, it looks pretty cheap.
Yeah. This is just people who say, yeah, I'm interested. That's not necessarily your cost of acquiring a new customer though, right?
Yeah. I mean, we don't look at our overall cost because we sell everything from $10 cables to, like I said, $10,000 laptop kits. On an app, we really focus hardcore on those laptop kits. That's what drives the majority of the revenue, and those are our long-term customer base. I can say we do take those people that buy that $20 cable, and you'd be amazed. Everyone that buys anything from us gets a call from a salesperson. So they just call them, they thank them for the order, and hey, tell me about your business. And usually in that conversation, we find out that they actually have a need for some of the higher end products we offer. And quite often, that guy that bought that cheap cable ends up becoming a client of ours down the road on the higher end tools once he realizes what's out there and what we can do to help his business.
Right.
So we really focus on lead generation from wherever we can get, through the Google stuff, through Facebook, through our own products that we're selling on our platforms, anywhere we can get it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're the first CEO that I've interviewed where their business has their own ad network. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Is it showing only on your own devices, the ads, or are they showing elsewhere?
Yeah, so for right now, we just spun it up on all of our own devices. And we have, today we have really 3 mobile apps, we have 4 or 5 websites, and we have 5 or 6 different desktop applications. So we had no idea. We weren't doing anything. We just kind of put those out there, and we're like, oh, we'll use it for lead generation, not really. And we're like, oh, guy signs up, we'll give him a call and talk to him about it. Whatever. And it's been great for us. But then we were like, man, there are so many people hitting these apps every single day. Maybe we should put some ads on here. And once we did that, the light bulb kind of went off to say, you know what, maybe we could go really expand some of our partnerships with some of our customers. So for example, we have a very big client who has 2 problems they've been talking to us about. 1, they need diagnostic tools. 2, they need to go recruit a bunch of technicians. So we said, I'll tell you what, if you guys buy products from us, why don't we run ads across our ad network? And it's directed right to technicians for people to apply for your company for diesel technician jobs. So we've been using it both as an opportunity to really work with our potential customers and current customers, a way to get new business. And now because of all the new apps and things that we have coming out through the end of the year and into next year, we actually hired a full-time advertising salesperson. So now we're actually going to our partners that we work with saying, hey, we actually have excess ad space here. Would you be interested in buying some? And so far, it's been an over resounding yes, because it's really direct marketing towards the people in our industry, which can be very tough to do at times.
Right. Now, how does your ad network compare to the ones out there that can sign up online at this time? And it's all algorithmic, and they decide which platforms to show the ads and so on. Are you able to do that or be part of those sort of networks?
So it's funny, we've actually had a couple other marketing companies, big ones that really cater to people in the heavy truck and construction world, ask us if they can buy ad space to use for their clients. So, we built the whole ad platform ourselves. We didn't use some out of the box template or do whatever. So we built our own because we really wanted to do whatever we could with it. So one of the big things that we're doing now is we have this app that allows you to cross-reference truck parts, right? So if you go to your local Peterbilt dealer and they say, hey, I need a windshield washer tank reservoir, here's the part number. You can go on our app and put the part number in and see if somebody makes it cheaper, or an alternative one, right? Because a lot of times the OEMs don't have the parts in stock. So there's multiple uses for it. And what we can do then is, because we know someone's searching for a windshield washer reservoir, we're able to show an ad to a company that makes windshield washer reservoirs, or a company that sells a tool that you would use for that application, or a company that sells that particular product. So we kind of built it with the thought of the HD industry in mind. But no, we haven't gone out and tried to expand it out to the general public. We really think this will stay a closed private thing that we use and really dictate who gets what on there and what we charge and how we do things and how we structure deals.
Very cool. And is your ad platform a big chunk of your $30 million revenue?
No, I mean, we just spun it up in January, and that's when we first really kind of beta launched it. Then it was like early Q1 is when we first put the first platform on it. So it really has taken us probably 5 months to even get our ads on our own network. And then, we don't know anything about ads, right? We're selling diagnostic tools. So we're trying to figure out, I think we have for the most part now, how often should ads be viewed? When do they get stagnant or stale? All those kind of marketing 101 things. And now the goal is, really in 2020 is when we really start to see some major source of ad revenue coming off that network. Because it's really going to take a sales team calling people and saying, hey, we got this platform. It's directed towards your target market. Here's our price. Here's how we do things. So we're expecting that in 2020 to be one of those things that really kind of starts taking off. Right.
Now, do you do all this in-house, or do you have to go out and find someone who can help you with this?
Yeah, no, I mean, we do everything in-house to a degree. So we have a bunch of software engineers, and most of them are in-house, but we do have a small army of outsourced engineers that we use for different things. So we have one particular guy. We have an in-house person to do mobile apps, but we also have an outsourced person as well. Same with kind of the back-end PHP, Laravel, WordPress stuff. We have a couple remote guys that do that. And these are people, it's funny, we call them 1099s. They should be Diesel Laptop employees, because I think some of them have been working for us coming up on 3 years now, and they work full-time for us. But it's always hard to find good, high-quality, outsourced 1099 contractors. But we've managed to nab a few through the years.
Right. So now that kind of brings us back to your second driver, hiring great people. What do you think is the secret to finding quality people on an outsourced basis?
Yeah, on an outsourced basis, it's a lot different than in-source. So in-source, especially through the first year or two, I hired a ton of people I knew and worked with before. So, I've hired plenty of outside people too. But here's the thing, when you hire someone from the outside, until they've been there for a month or two, you really don't know who they are or how they act or how good they are. So it takes a while to figure that out. And it's really the same with a lot of these outsourced workers. I can tell you, since I started this, we've spent way more than $1 million on outsourced employees from overseas or Canada or US or wherever. Not just with the software engineering, but with our technical editing and data entry stuff we do as well. So it took us a while to really figure out what's good and what's not. Now that we kind of have a baseline, we kind of have an expectation of how long certain things should take to do. So it's a lot easier for us to evaluate employees. Like, we're just going through it now. We need a new Laravel PHP WordPress expert, another one. So we have a test environment set up, and we'll give them a small project, and we'll just see how long it takes them to do it and if they know what they're doing. And you can usually tell pretty quick by the questions they're asking or the vocabulary they're using, if they have native speaking English or how well their English is and those types of things. So just really through experience more than anything else at this point, and then setting up some small test projects for the employees to do is what we currently are doing.
Right. Now, your in-source versus outsource the decision, what are the parameters for you to decide if you want to hire someone permanently versus outsourcing it?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I would hire everybody stateside in-house if I could. The problem is we can't. It's not a matter of wage. These outsourced people are costing me probably just as much or even more than what it would cost to hire a U.S.-based employee. The problem we have is we're in Columbia, South Carolina. So not a hotbed of IT professionals and developers. We have some great ones here, don't get me wrong, but they are so hard to find. If anyone's listened to this and their child is unsure or they know somebody that's unsure what career path to go, man, go take some coding classes and boot camps, because it is so hard to find high quality people out there, and they can literally write their own check wherever they want to go at this point, at least here in the southeast of the U.S.
Right. Got it. So going back to how you grew your business so fast, how much of your growth is coming from new customers?
Yeah. At this point, I would say our new customer growth is probably still around that 65-ish% rate, somewhere in that neighborhood. So what's happened now is like these, I alluded to a little bit earlier. So these smaller mom and pop companies, the small organizations, they are quick to make decisions, right? They don't have to go through 8 layers of management to buy something. These bigger companies, I mean, we just engaged with one 2 years ago, and just now they put their first order in. So they're just taking a long time to come to fruition, but these guys are repeat orders, right? So they're not talking about buying one unit, they're talking about buying hundreds or even thousands. So just that stuff now is starting to come along. So I think that percentage keeps drifting down as time keeps marching on for us.
Okay, so 65%, roughly 65% of your business now is coming from new customers, and
I would say so, yes.
Okay, and how did they find you? How did you find them? Which way is it? All inbound? Is it outbound?
Yeah, so we don't do any outbound cold calling. We probably should, but we really don't. So between the leads that we get through our online marketing, and there's hundreds of there every month. We also have a long sales cycle. So typically if a customer doesn't buy in the first couple of days, the average sales cycle ends up being like 30 days. So it's a lot of follow-up phone calls and emails and web demos to customers, showing them the platform. So it takes a while to do those things. We do a ton of trade shows. We'll do 40 to 45 trade shows this year across all industries, across the entire US. We have a whole marketing team that does the trade shows. Referrals. We've done a ton of business partnership arrangements with other companies. So for example, we have a company out there called Diesel Forward. They sell fuel injectors. That's their primary core business, is injectors and turbos. So the problem they had is they came to us and say, hey, we make an injector for John Deere engines, but you need the John Deere software to program it, and John Deere refuses to sell it to us or our customers or our dealers or our distributors. They say we can't have it. And we happen to have a solution for it. So we made a great deal with these guys. They're out there promoting our tool when they go sell their injectors. And we're obviously doing what we can to support them through our ad network and making sure we reference them whenever we possibly can in our marketing material. And we probably have a dozen companies like that we work with. So we're all about networking, finding opportunities, and just looking for ways to keep growing our business and keep getting our name out there.
Right. So for these partnerships, are you proactively seeking them out, or are they coming to you?
It's both. I mean, just today, I found a guy up in Canada that sells a bunch of truck parts on a website, salvage truck parts. So I messaged him today and said, hey man, I saw your post. You know what? You're selling truck parts. People are probably trying to cross stuff. I have a platform that we can cross-reference parts easily. Why don't we see if there's a way to work together? So it kind of goes both ways. I can tell you, for me, one of the best ways to meet these partnership deals has either been the old-fashioned trade shows, just bumping into people, or them coming to our booth, or us going to their booth, or LinkedIn. LinkedIn, for us, is really a goldmine of opportunity. It's really an underutilized platform, at least in the business-to-business heavy-duty trucking space. So it kind of happens through both ways.
Right. So you find LinkedIn to be useful And I've had it be useful at times and at other times not so useful. And I have to say some of the messages that come to me via LinkedIn, I literally, ask myself, what are these guys doing? They send messages for stuff that have like zero relevance to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of spammy stuff going on there, and I just saw LinkedIn did a big crackdown on some of those bots that are automating stuff last week. So I think they're trying to crack down on all that stuff. But I can tell you in my space, there's not a lot of people talking about commercial trucks and diagnostics and all these things. And I make a conscious effort to post on there a couple times a week. And my strategy is never go and just talking about products and sales and this type of thing. I try to go on there and tell a story or a background or announce a new product. But I never once go on there and say, call me if you need to buy something. And I can tell you this, every single week, I have multiple people messaging me interested in our product. So for us, 4 years ago, I'm in my garage and dining room table, right? So we knew we had to be everywhere and be as loud and obnoxious as possible out there on social media to get as much attention as possible. And we've just really continued to do that as we go forward. And today I can tell you LinkedIn, it costs us nothing to do. And I receive plenty of sales leads every week. And I've made plenty of partnership arrangements off that platform. Absolute great tool to have. Any business executive should be on there and engaged and doing what they can to keep expanding their network.
Mm-hmm. Now, how are the people on LinkedIn finding you?
So some of my, I've been posting pretty regularly on LinkedIn for a couple of years. But it's really been this year. It really got really weird. I had a couple of my posts just, I wouldn't say viral, but 60, 70,000 views, that type of thing. And this was the first year I've been literally stopped in the street. I've been stopped in restaurants. I had a guy on a plane where they literally recognized me off of LinkedIn. And just wanted to say hi and introduce themselves and kind of share their story. So I think for me, it's been a little bit easier since I've been on there so long. I've been talking about, the trials and tribulations of what's going on in our business. So it's been easier, but it's pretty cool to see people. LinkedIn's like the silent platform. There's a lot of people looking, but not a lot of people hitting that like button or hitting the comment button. Mm-hmm. But you got to keep posting and keep being out there, and it'll grow.
Right. Because I go on LinkedIn on occasion, and I look at the feed, and I have to say most of the stuff in my feed aren't that relevant to me. So I hardly look at it. And I'm just kind of surprised that you're getting such engagement on the LinkedIn side. Like, are these people who are connected to you and hence they see it? Or are they just seeing your post because other people had shared it? And that's how they're finding you.
I mean, I make the active effort every week to go on there and try to connect with more people. So, 3 months ago, because I knew we have this big parts thing coming out, I was actively going on there looking for parts managers and parts directors. And I would just send them a message saying, hey, I'm the CEO and founder of Diesel Laptops. I used to work at a truck dealership. I was a parts manager. Just want to connect with you here. I think we got some really cool tools coming out in the future that I think you might be interested in. And a lot of them connect with you, and then they just start seeing your posts. Then of course you get their network seeing your posts, and it just kind of grows from there. But it's definitely a marathon. It is not a sprint. So if someone really wants to grow their profile on there and really expand their network, I mean, it is going to take you months and months and months, or in my case, look back on it now, it probably took 2 years for me to really, really gain some traction and make sure I have visibility when I post stuff on there.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever tried to work out what your cost per lead is coming from all of the SEO-ish, content marketing, SEO work that you're doing?
No, the only thing we ever look at is we do look at our cost per lead on our paid platforms. So we'll say, okay, how much did Google remarketing, how many views, and what's our cost per lead there, and how many leads do we get? So we'll look by category, Facebook and all those guys. But we have so much other content. Like we have a blog page that does very well, and we try to push relevant content on there. And, the whole goal with we're all about content. I keep telling my marketing team, content. I don't care what it is. Just keep putting it out there. Keep staying in front of people. As soon as people start telling us that we're annoying and we're everywhere, you've done enough, right? So keep going until you hit that point. So we really don't measure it that way. Just that cost per lead on the paid stuff that we're doing. Right.
Well, I mean, people like that. I think the attraction of, say, SEO, because, oftentimes it's marketed and that it can generate leads for you at very low cost or no cost. Yeah. Although you do sink in quite a bit of time and resources to get that critical mass, right, for it to work.
Oh yeah, I mean for organic SEO, that was like day one. When I started this company, I was like, I need to do something, or two things that was actually the goal, every week to help my SEO. And sometimes it was on-page stuff, just optimizing things. Sometimes it was making a new blog post with relevant keywords. Sometimes it was reaching out to other companies and other organizations saying, hey, can I get a link back to my website? So we did all kinds of things, especially in those early years, to build up this huge organic SEO. So today, when you go Google pretty much anything in our space with keywords, I mean, we're first page for virtually everything, and we're usually top 3. I mean, we rank, some of our product listings rank ahead of Amazon and eBay listings and some of these bigger established companies that have been out there for a while. So again, I think that just kind of goes hand in hand with just, being loud and obnoxious and everywhere on social media, pushing content out constantly and giving value to our customers and making sure people see our name everywhere they go.
Right. Yeah. Even for my business, I've thought about what you just have shared as to what you've done. And I look at my alternatives as well. And to do all that, it's a huge time commitment if you don't have a team to do it for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I look back at it now. There's some blog pages. I was just showing this to one of our new marketing people because she did a blog page. It wasn't quite right. It was good. It wasn't quite right. So I said, hey, here's some tips. And I'm like, how long did it take you to do this? She's like, oh, I made this in about an hour. I'm like, okay, you need to be spending much more time on these things. And I understand. And she kind of looked at me like, it seems like a lot of time for a blog post. You can see that look in her eye. And I'm like, look, here's the thing. And I showed her a blog page I did like 2 years ago. I'm like, I spent 15 hours putting that page together and all the content and pictures and video and everything. But let's go look at how much traction that's got us. And it was something like 250,000 views have been landed on that page, right, over the last 2 years. So I'm like, it cost us 15 hours to do that, but I got 250,000 eyeballs. And then some of those people filled out a form, some went to our website. But that's why we spend the time creating the high quality content. It's a huge time suck today, but it pays for itself in dividends for years to come.
Right, exactly. So for this upcoming year, I know you're looking on, you're working on building out your ad network a bit more.
Yeah.
You mentioned before you had a few other apps coming down the pipe. Anything you can share with us?
Yeah, well, our company's really going through a whole shift here in general. So I always tell our employees, what got us here won't get us there. So what got me here was selling truck diagnostic tools. And we scaled up a great company. I mean, we're moving into a 40,000 square foot building in a couple of weeks. We got over 100 employees, all that stuff. But that doesn't get me to 50 or 100 million in revenue. So we made that decision earlier this year. Like, we need to invest in a couple things. One, let's get that ad network up and going. Two, let's continue to push out more apps and more websites and all these things just to feed the ad network and keep expanding our brand. Those kind of go hand in hand. Number two, we said there's a real lack of technician knowledge and training in our industry. So we actually have hands-on technician courses that we do here in South Carolina. And we made a deal with another company this year to expand that out across the US. So we'll actually be doing diesel laptops, diesel technician training classes across the US. We already started in Columbus, Ohio, and we'll be in a couple states by the end of the year, and I expect to be in about 20 states by this time next year. So training, we think, is a big revenue opportunity for us as well. And then the other one we really wanted to expand out is the whole parts world. So in the heavy truck parts world, like, it's been a whole other show talking about heavy truck parts world. But at the end of the day, we have a really cool app that cross-references those aftermarket OEM numbers, but we're delivering an industry first, which is going to be the ability for people to look up their own parts without having to call a dealership group. So we think that's going to be a very huge play. The industry's been asking for it for decades, and we're going to be the first ones to put it out there in the marketplace. And then the other one's repair information. So I kind of built all this repair information so I can sell more tools. And now it's so good. We're like, man, we should just sell this thing by itself. So we're putting together a whole platform and package where people, they may have a tool from somebody else or aren't in the market to buy one, but they can still buy our repair information and get access to our diesel techs in our tech support call center. So we're excited to kind of stand on more than one leg and keep branching this thing out. And plus, we expanded out to off-highway and marine in the last 12 to 18 months as well. So we have a lot of things in the pipeline, so to speak. Right,
definitely. Now, how many people do you have in-house and out-house, in-house and outsource to do all the work outlined?
Yeah. So today, if you look at all our full-time and part-time employees that we have, our part-time employees are more on our technical editing team, and it's a lot of stay-at-home moms and school teachers and people that just want a kind of a 20 to 30 hour a week paycheck. But if you add up all those, it's somewhere in the 130 number. If you added up all of our outsourced people everywhere that we have doing stuff, that's probably another 75 to 100, somewhere in that ballpark.
Right. Even with 200 people available for you to do the work, it sounds like they've got their hands full with all the things you got going on.
As we've gotten bigger, it feels like we're going slower. So we're actively engaged now in lean process training, and I have a lot of managers that are probably at this point, what I hired them for 18 months ago, they were totally qualified for. Probably today, not qualified so much. They probably wouldn't even get the job if they were applying for it today. But they're great people that have the capacity to learn. So it's just a matter of us putting that training and giving them the tools so they can succeed in their job. So it's really cool watching a lot of the employees around here really grow up and turn into true leaders.
Right. So I know in 2018 you hit around 30 million. Are you able to share what you're on track to achieve in 2019?
Yeah. It's weird. A lot of people are all, wishy-washy about sharing revenue numbers and everything, but it's a stat that we talk about a lot over here and our employees know. So, I think on the low end, my budget, on the low end, 40 million, but realistically, I think we'll crack that 50 million number this year as everything kind of keeps falling into place. Nice.
And when do you think what's your plan on hitting the 100 million mark that you talked about?
Yeah. I mean, for us, if you just look at our revenue track, the way it's going, it's completely doable in 2 years. I think the only thing standing in the way of us hitting that number is ourselves and the ability to scale up and train and make sure we still take care of our customers the way they need to be taken care of. So I think we can get there and we can keep moving fast. We're in a great position. We have no debt. We don't have shareholders we have to answer to. It is just a matter of our imaginations and how fast we want to build things at this point.
Right. Do you see getting to 100 million, you can do it with your existing product line for the most part, or do you think you're going to have to add some new product lines to get there?
Yeah, I think all the things we talked about earlier just add fuel to that fire. We really look at, I don't think I need to add more product lines. I think what we're doing in the off-highway diagnostic world is bigger than the truck world. And the marine world, we're the only ones playing in it today. And we're doing really minimal advertising and marketing in those areas, but yet they're growing very, very fast. So it kind of looks like I did with truck 4 years ago. So I think if we just kind of get a little more focused on what we have going on, that I think we're going to be set pretty good. Things are looking pretty bright.
Nice. And by off-highway, you're talking about farming type machinery and construction machinery and those sort of things?
Yep, absolutely. So think of every piece of earth moving equipment you've ever seen. Think about any piece of farm equipment you've seen. You go to a football game on Friday night and you're at the stadium there. They probably got some generators with some big lights on it. Go to the airport, you'll see they got fuel trucks, they got ladder trucks, they got it's just amazing when you start looking at what's out there, how many diesel engines are out in the world, not in a commercial truck. And that world is way more complicated. And we're really the only ones playing in it right now. We're the only company that has repair information in that world. So we're about 8 steps ahead of anybody trying to get into it. And we're trying to get about 20 steps ahead of everybody.
Very cool. 3 last questions for you. If you had a billboard along the freeway that's only going to be seen for 6 seconds, what would be your billboard message?
Oh, man. So, hey, first of all, I hate billboards. I'm not a big fan of radio, billboards, magazines, all that stuff, but I understand what you're saying. So I would just say, we provide solutions to repair shops that are involved in the heavy truck, off-highway, and marine markets. That's really what we do at the end of the day, is provide solutions through diagnostic tools, repair information, live diesel techs, all those things.
Right. That's a lot to fit on one billboard.
It is. So, hey, anytime we do any type of banner ad, I always tell my people, if you got more than 4 words up there, change it up. So I understand what you're saying though about the 6 seconds.
Yeah. So what are the 4 words you would like to see on a banner ad?
Oh man. If you just had to talk about our company, it was just diesel laptops up there. I could imagine something with our logo and say, repairs, diagnostic repair solutions, something along those lines. It's hard. You got to fit the word heavy truck or commercial in there or something of that nature, but that's really what it is solutions to repair shops.
Right. And my last 2 questions for you. Who are your ideal customers and what's the best way for them to contact your team?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really anybody that is wanting to do any type of diagnostics to a commercial truck or an off-highway vehicle or in the marine market. We sell everything from those small, inexpensive code readers that cost you, $50, all the way up to those $10,000 plus tools. And the best way to get a hold of us is just go to our website, go to diesellaptops.com, or we have a toll-free number, 888-983-1975.
All right, fantastic. Tyler, it's been awesome having you on my show today. I really enjoyed hearing how you grew your company so fast.
Hey, great having a conversation with you too, and I look forward to next time.
We've been speaking with Tyler Robertson, the CEO of Diesel Laptops, about his company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing, high-value sales companies, or to learn how we can accelerate your firm's high-value sales through automation, visit eversprint.com.